Hi, a huge welcome to Steve's Kitchen. Why have I been out in the garden picking twigs off an apple tree? Well, apples, twigs, s'mores, Halloween. What have they got in common? Well, not a lot, but we're going to make beautiful Halloween s'mores apples. Now I have a choice of two different sizes of apples and I've been thinking about it. I think I'm going to go with these smaller ones. They just make really nice little mouth-sized candy apples. Got my twigs from the garden and I'm going to break them off possibly about 6-7 inches in length. And then I'm just going to take a sharp knife and just whittle a nice little point to the end of this stick. Then twist the stalk off the apple like this one here. Take our pointed stick and let's just push it in to the center of the apple. Now you want to go in about 3/4 of the way. These twigs make really great candy apple sticks. You could use chopsticks or skewers, of course. You could also sterilize this in hot water if you wanted to, but I like them as they are. Time to make our marshmallow sauce. Now I've got a couple of tablespoons of butter in a pan. I've got a bag of giant marshmallows. We need to take these over to the stove. Now on a medium heat, we're just going to melt the butter. And I've got a pan here that's around about 2 pints. We don't want our butter to burn, so as it just starts to melt like that, I'm going to take these big marshmallows and I'm just going to drop them in and we're just going to let them melt down into the butter. Keep the heat fairly low at this point. As the marshmallows start to melt, we'll just add a few more in, and you're probably better to use smaller marshmallows, to be honest with this. What we're looking to end up with is something that's nice and runny, almost like a cream. And then what you're going to do is take your apple and just dip it into the marshmallow, not all the way up to the stick, but just give it a nice turn around. I like to leave a little bit of the green showing at the top and bring that up, let the excess drop off, and then just pop that apple down onto the tray until it's set. You may just need to put that back onto the heat to make it a little thinner, but if you work quickly, you should be able to do this all in one hit. Now we're at the last apple here. I'm just coating it over. And what I found is practicing with these is that if you just take that and before you pop it onto the paper, we're just going to scrape off the excess from the bottom. And that way, when you pop it down onto your paper, we're going to get slightly smaller ring than we've got on here. It doesn't matter with these ones, we can trim it off. Next thing I'm going to do is pop those in the fridge and let them chill up for a little bit, maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. Now the marshmallow apples are out of the fridge and they've set nicely. I've got some biscuits here. Ideally you'd use graham crackers. I'm using digestive biscuits. I'm just going to break them up with a rolling pin. Let's pop those into a bowl. Now here in a Pyrex bowl, I've got 250 grams, that's about 9 ounces of chocolate, which I'm just going to melt in the microwave, 30 seconds at a time until it's done. Now here's the trickiest part of the recipe. I cut the paper around the toffee apple, and what I'm going to do is just fold this back now. What you need to do is pull this away from the toffee apple, and you could get someone else just to give that a little snip off. Discard this piece and you've got a perfect little marshmallow apple. So I have my melted chocolate, my cookie crumbs. Then what we're going to do is dip the apple in so it's about 2/3 covered in chocolate. I'm just going to let a lot of that chocolate drip off, and then we're going to take the apple and dip it into our cookie crumbs. And I'll just let that rest in the cookies for a minute or so before I move it over onto a sheet to completely set. Now I've come outside to the garden where the apple sticks came from. Look at these, they look absolutely delicious and fantastic. Word of warning, I do always like to keep it as honest as possible. This marshmallow mixture is as sticky as anything you've ever come across. So be prepared to get a little gummed up whilst making these. But is it worth it? Let's give it a try. Oh yes, they are delicious. I never was that good at eating toffee apples, to be honest. I can't get my mouth around them. But having said that, these are so good to eat. Now, if you decide to make them, let me know how you get on. If you get a bit sticky, don't blame me, I've told you. Be good, and I'll see you very shortly. They're a real picture, aren't they? A lovely idea for Halloween. Now don't forget to share the love, give this the thumbs up. These are really good, and I'll leave some links up here to some other Halloween recipes. Comment down below, love to hear what you have to say. Take care, see you next time.